Alexander the Great, a mega-achiever from ancient times, crushed it in conquering huge chunks of the world. However, his gig was short-lived. He kicked the bucket at 32. The details around his death are sketchy, stirring up loads of theories and debates with the long-standing question, what ended his successful life? Keep your eyes open as we try to answer the question on how and why he met the Reaper so soon. A glimpse of Alexander's life. Alexander the Great, born in Pella in 356 BCE, was destined for greatness. His dad, King Philip II of Macedonia, set the stage for his rise. At just 20, Alexander took the throne after his father's assassination. Immediately, he flexed his military muscles. He swiftly subdued rebellious Greek city-states, establishing dominance. Then, fueled by his ambition to outdo his pops, Alexander embarked on a relentless conquest spree. His conquest of Persia marked a pivotal moment. In 334 BCE, he invaded the Persian Empire, led by Darius III. The Battle of Issus, in 333 BCE, showcased his tactical brilliance, securing a decisive victory. Alexander then swooped down on Egypt, where he was welcomed as a liberator. In 331 BCE, he founded Alexandria, a city destined for grandeur. The Gordian Knot incident, where he reportedly unraveled an intricate knot, symbolized his audacity and determination. Pushing further east, Alexander faced the challenge of the mighty Persian king at Gaugamela in 331 BCE. Despite being outnumbered, he employed clever tactics, flanking and destabilizing Darius's forces. Persia crumbled, and Alexander declared himself the rightful ruler. He adopted Persian customs, fostering a cultural blend known as Hellenistic civilization. India beckoned, and Alexander pushed his troops to their limits. The Battle of Hydaspes in 326 BCE against King Porus was a brutal showdown. Despite victory, his army's fatigue prompted him to abandon further conquests. His soldiers, homesick and weary, yearned for the familiar. Alexander reluctantly turned back. However, his triumphant return faced hiccups. His troops, accustomed to obedience, rebelled at the Beis River. The mutiny forced him to halt his conquests. Recognizing the need for unity, he integrated Persian and Macedonian soldiers, fostering a sense of shared purpose. His policy of fusion extended to marriages, symbolized by his own union with Roxana, a Bactrian princess. As a visionary, Alexander aimed to merge cultures. He sponsored vast projects like the fusion of Greek and Persian architecture in Persepolis. This cultural amalgamation aimed at fostering harmony in his vast empire. Yet his dreams outpaced reality. His death in 323 BCE sparked a power struggle among his generals, leading to the fragmentation of his empire. The military machine that propelled Alexander's conquests was the Macedonian phalanx. This infantry formation, wielding the sarissa, a pike exceeding 18 feet, ensured dominance in close combat. The companion cavalry, led by his childhood friend and general Hephaestion, complemented the phalanx. This lethal combo conquered lands from Greece to India. Alexander's legacy extended beyond warfare. A patron of education, he studied under Aristotle, nurturing a love for literature, philosophy, and science. His conquests facilitated cultural exchanges, spreading Greek ideas across Asia. The famed Library of Alexandria, a hub of intellectual activity, emerged under his rule. Additionally, the establishment of cities like Alexandria and Bucephala reflected his vision for cultural integration. The immense scope of Alexander's conquests reshaped political, cultural, and geographical landscapes. His military genius, cultural endeavors, and pursuit of unity left an indelible mark on the ancient world. The Hellenistic era, bridging East and West, emerged from his ambitions, forever altering the course of history. Alexander's future plans. Alexander the Great's insatiable appetite for conquest knew few bounds. As he stood at the zenith of his power, having subjugated vast territories from Greece to India, his vision extended beyond his current triumphs. The year 323 BCE marked a pivotal moment when Alexander began to sketch out grandiose plans for the future. Eager to continue his expansion, Alexander eyed Arabia as his next target. The strategic and economic allure of the Arabian Peninsula beckoned, and he envisioned bringing it under his dominion. This ambitious scheme, however, collided with the stark reality of his troops' fatigue and resistance. The grueling campaigns had taken a toll on his soldiers, who longed for home and respite. In his quest for world dominance, Alexander's gaze turned westward. The dream of conquering the Mediterranean world, symbolized by the city of Carthage, fueled his ambitions. A naval expedition to seize control of the Mediterranean, coupled with the strategic domination of Carthage, would secure his legacy as an unrivaled conqueror. Yet, these visions of maritime supremacy and Western expansion were abruptly cut short by his untimely demise. Beyond military conquests, Alexander harbored aspirations of cultural synthesis. His policy of fusion aimed at blending Greek and Persian cultures transcended territorial boundaries. He envisioned the creation of a harmonious society where the best aspects of both worlds coexisted. The marriage ceremonies, uniting Macedonian soldiers with Persian brides, epitomized this effort to forge a united and culturally integrated empire. The city of Babylon played a crucial role in Alexander's future plans. His design for Babylon as a monumental capital aimed at symbolizing the unity of his empire. The ambitious construction projects, including the restoration of the Etemenanki ziggurat, showcased his desire to leave an enduring mark. However, his demise curtailed these urban ambitions, leaving Babylon incomplete and unrealized. Alexander's fascination with exploring the unknown persisted. He envisioned sending expeditions to map and comprehend the far reaches of his empire. The untamed lands to the north, the vast expanses of Arabia, and the uncharted territories to the east intrigued him. This thirst for knowledge and exploration mirrored his tutor Aristotle's influence, demonstrating an intellectual curiosity that extended beyond military conquests. The sudden death of Alexander in 323 BCE shattered these ambitious plans. The absence of a clear successor plunged his empire into chaos, igniting a power struggle among his generals. The once unified empire fractured into competing factions, marking the end of Alexander's dream of a vast, integrated world under his rule. Health, military, and political challenges before his passing. Alexander the Great, a paragon of military prowess, faced numerous health challenges throughout his meteoric rise. From a young age, he encountered physical ailments that shaped his journey. Born in 356 BCE, some historians suggest he suffered from various illnesses, including malaria and typhoid fever. Despite these early health setbacks, Alexander demonstrated remarkable resilience and an indomitable spirit. As he ascended to power, the toll of his rigorous campaigns became evident. The Battle of Granicus in 334 BCE marked one of his first major victories against the Persians. However, it also inflicted injuries upon him. During the siege of Miletus, he suffered a severe chest wound, which further strained his physical well-being. His unwavering commitment to leading from the front lines, despite risking his life, exemplified his dedication to his military ambitions. The relentless march eastward took a toll not only on Alexander's body, but also on the morale of his soldiers. The Battle of Jhelum in 326 BCE against King Porus, a formidable Indian ruler, tested the limits of both his military strategy and his army's endurance. The harsh terrains, coupled with the extended campaigns, led to widespread fatigue and discontent among his troops. Political challenges loomed large as Alexander sought to merge diverse cultures under his rule. The Macedonian-centric leadership faced resistance from his own officers, who grew weary of adopting Persian customs. The introduction of proskynesis, a Persian custom demanding bowing or prostration, triggered discontent among Macedonian nobles. This clash of cultures and political ideologies created internal strife that added to the complexities of Alexander's leadership. The Battle of Opis in 324 BCE marked a turning point in his relationship with his Macedonian officers. When Alexander promoted Persian officers to prominent positions, it fueled resentment among his longtime companions. The Macedonian ethos of shared risk and reward clashed with Alexander's vision of a culturally integrated empire. The strain on his relationships with his inner circle added a layer of political tension to the broader challenges he faced. As Alexander delved deeper into the heart of the Persian Empire, the magnitude of his conquests presented administrative and logistical nightmares. Governing such a vast and culturally diverse empire required adept political maneuvering. The introduction of Persian satraps and the fusion of administrative systems aimed at promoting unity, but also triggered suspicion and discontent among Macedonian nobility. The grand vision of amalgamating East and West collided with the harsh realities of governance. The Battle of Hydaspes in 326 BCE, marking the easternmost extent of his conquests, highlighted the logistical challenges. Facing a potential mutiny and a demoralized army, Alexander reluctantly agreed to halt further eastern expansion, recognizing the limitations imposed by the physical and mental exhaustion of his troops. In the midst of these challenges, Alexander's health began to deteriorate rapidly. Theories abound regarding the cause of his death, from natural illnesses to poison. Some historians suggest that the physical toll of his rigorous lifestyle, coupled with injuries sustained in battles, contributed to his demise. Regardless of the exact cause, his death in 323 BCE left a power vacuum, triggering a period of uncertainty and conflict among his generals, known as the Wars of the Diadochi. The Last Days of Alexander the Great. The Last Days of Alexander the Great, a historical drama shrouded in mystery, unfolded in 323 BCE. Having conquered vast territories and reshaped the known world, Alexander's physical and mental resilience reached its limits. The Battle of Hydaspes in 326 BCE marked a turning point, pushing his army to the brink and prompting his decision to curtail further eastern expansion. After the triumphant return to Babylon, the once invincible conqueror faced a series of health setbacks. The toll of years of relentless campaigning manifested in his physical condition. Some historical accounts suggest that he suffered from a mysterious illness, characterized by symptoms such as fever, abdominal pain, and muscle weakness. The exact nature of this ailment remains a subject of debate among scholars. During his final days, as illness tightened its grip, Alexander's health deteriorated rapidly. His inability to lead his troops and maintain the semblance of invincibility contributed to a sense of vulnerability among his soldiers. The mighty conqueror, who once stood at the forefront of battles, became bedridden and dependent on his trusted generals. Amidst the physical decline, political challenges further complicated the last days of Alexander. The question of succession loomed large. With no clear heir, a power vacuum emerged, igniting tensions among his top generals, known as the Diadochi. The absence of a designated successor fueled a bitter struggle for control, unraveling the unity that had characterized Alexander's empire. As his health faltered, Alexander grappled with the profound question of succession. In a symbolic gesture, he reportedly placed his signet ring in the hands of his general Perdiccas, signaling his choice for a successor. However, this act did little to quell the power struggles among the Diadochi. The ambiguity surrounding his intentions fueled infighting that would shape the course of post-Alexander politics. Amidst the political turmoil, Alexander's mental state became increasingly erratic. Some sources suggest that he experienced periods of intense paranoia and suspicion, leading to drastic measures. The execution of his close friend and general, Clytus the Black, during a drunken quarrel, reflected the growing strain on Alexander's psyche. This tragic incident further eroded the camaraderie among his inner circle, deepening the fractures within his once unified army. In a bid to reconcile with his Macedonian officers, Alexander initiated a mass marriage ceremony, symbolizing the fusion of Persian and Macedonian cultures. He himself married Roxana, a Bactrian princess, in a gesture aimed at promoting unity. However, these attempts at cultural integration were overshadowed by the political rivalries and internal strife that plagued his empire. The grand plans that Alexander harbored for the future, including the conquest of Arabia and the Mediterranean, remained unrealized as his health rapidly declined. His physical agony intensified, and he succumbed to the mysterious illness on June 10, 323 BCE, at the age of 32. The circumstances surrounding his death remain a historical enigma, with theories ranging from natural causes to poisoning. The aftermath of Alexander's death plunged his empire into chaos. The wars of the Diadochi erupted as his generals vied for control. The once mighty empire splintered into competing factions, each led by ambitious commanders seeking to carve out their own dominion. The dreams of a unified, culturally blended empire under Alexander's rule gave way to a fragmented landscape marked by power struggles and shifting alliances. What caused Alexander's passing? The simplest answer is, we don't know. But as mentioned earlier, theories have emerged from the mystery. The mysterious circumstances surrounding the death of Alexander the Great have spurred numerous theories, including those attributing his demise to natural causes. Speculations about illnesses or infections feature prominently in this discourse. Alexander faced health challenges throughout his life, with some historical accounts suggesting various maladies. Malaria and typhoid fever have been posited as potential afflictions, given their prevalence in the ancient world. However, the lack of concrete evidence and the ambiguous nature of historical descriptions make it challenging to pinpoint a specific illness. Examination of historical accounts detailing Alexander's symptoms adds another layer to the natural causes theory. Some sources describe fever, abdominal pain, and muscle weakness during his final days. Such symptoms align with a range of potential illnesses, complicating efforts to reach a conclusive diagnosis. The elusive nature of historical records and the absence of modern medical technology contribute to the ongoing mystery surrounding the exact nature of Alexander's ailment. A contrasting theory suggests that Alexander fell victim to foul play, specifically poisoning. Historical accounts alluding to suspicions of poisoning have fueled this narrative. Clytus the Black, a close companion of Alexander, was vocal in criticizing his adoption of Persian customs. This led to a drunken quarrel during which Alexander fatally impaled Clytus. The incident not only strained relationships within his inner circle, but also raised questions about the loyalty of those close to him. The possibility of political or personal motives behind poisoning remains speculative, but it aligns with the intrigue and power struggles that defined the aftermath of Alexander's death. The question of who might have had motives to poison Alexander further deepens the mystery. Potential suspects include his generals, court officials, or even family members with ambitions for power. Ptolemy, one of his trusted generals who later established the Ptolemaic kingdom in Egypt, has been implicated by some historians. However, conclusive evidence remains elusive, and the poisoning theory remains a speculative aspect of the broader discourse on Alexander's demise. Another avenue of exploration considers trauma or injuries as contributing factors to Alexander's health decline. Throughout his conquests, he faced numerous battles and sustained injuries, with some having potentially severe consequences. The Battle of Granicus in 334 BCE resulted in a chest wound, and during the siege of Miletus, he suffered additional injuries. The toll of these physical traumas, combined with the stress of leadership, could have exacerbated underlying health issues. The potential long-term consequences of battle-related injuries on Alexander's health have been a subject of scholarly analysis. Some historians argue that the injuries sustained, particularly during the Indian campaign, may have led to infections or complications that contributed to his decline. The grueling campaigns in harsh terrains, coupled with the physical demands of leading a vast army, could have taken a toll on his body over time. Did Alexander the Great leave a will? The question of whether Alexander the Great left a will remains a topic of historical ambiguity, contributing to the intrigue surrounding his succession. The absence of a clear and undisputed will has fueled speculation and power struggles among his generals, known as the Diadochi. Unlike many rulers of his time, Alexander's failure to designate a direct heir created a void that set the stage for a tumultuous period in the wake of his death in 323 BCE. Historical accounts provide conflicting information regarding the existence and content of Alexander's will. Some ancient sources claim that he left a written testament, while others suggest that he made verbal declarations in his final moments. The accounts of contemporary historians such as Plutarch, Arrian, and Diodorus Siculus provide glimpses into the complexities surrounding the question of Alexander's will. Plutarch, for instance, indicates that Alexander may have expressed his wishes verbally, especially regarding the installation of Perdiccas as his successor. The uncertainty surrounding Alexander's will became a catalyst for political turmoil among his generals. In Babylon, where he took his last breath, the power struggle among the Diadochi erupted soon after his death. Perdiccas, holding what some claim to be Alexander's signet ring, asserted himself as the regent and guardian of the kings, including Alexander's posthumous son with Roxana, Alexander IV. However, this claim to authority was met with resistance from other generals who sought a piece of the empire for themselves. The so-called Partition of Babylon attempted to address the power vacuum left by Alexander's demise. While it was not a will in the conventional sense, it represented an agreement among the Diadochi on the division of the vast empire. Perdiccas, taking on a leading role, aimed to maintain the unity of the empire under the Argead dynasty. However, the inherent challenges of governing such an expansive realm, coupled with individual ambitions, led to dissent among the generals. The complexities of the situation escalated further with the birth of posthumous heirs. Roxana, Alexander's widow, was pregnant at the time of his death, leading to the birth of Alexander IV after the king's passing. The inclusion of the infant in the power dynamics intensified the struggle for influence and control over the future of the empire. Ultimately, the lack of a clear and universally accepted will contributed to the Wars of the Diadochi, a series of conflicts among the generals seeking dominance. The power struggles persisted for decades, resulting in the fragmentation of Alexander's empire into several Hellenistic states, each ruled by different successors. Alexander's funeral carriage. Alexander the Great's funeral carriage, a testament to the grandeur of his legacy, played a significant role in the elaborate ceremonies that followed his death in 323 BCE. Crafted to reflect the might and splendor of the conqueror, the funeral carriage became a symbol of the Hellenistic fusion of cultures that marked Alexander's reign. The funeral procession, a majestic spectacle, featured a monumental carriage that carried Alexander's body from Babylon to his final resting place in Alexandria, Egypt. This grand journey spanned over a year and covered approximately 1,600 miles, highlighting the magnitude of the mourning and the desire to honor the fallen leader. Historical accounts describe the funeral carriage as a marvel of craftsmanship, adorned with opulent materials and intricate designs. The use of gold, silver, and precious gems reflected the wealth amassed during Alexander's conquests. The elaborate decorations on the carriage depicted scenes from his triumphant campaigns, showcasing the diverse cultures that fell under his dominion. The transportation of Alexander's body on the ornate carriage symbolized the continuation of his rule, even in death. The decision to take his remains to Alexandria, a city he founded, further emphasized the enduring legacy he sought to establish. The grandeur of the funeral carriage echoed the cultural amalgamation that defined Alexander's vision, blending Greek and Persian influences into a harmonious whole. The funeral procession, accompanied by grieving soldiers and dignitaries, unfolded as a symbolic journey of the conqueror's soul to the afterlife. The construction and use of such an elaborate carriage reflected not only the cultural significance of the event, but also the political realities of maintaining unity among his generals and successors. Where was Alexander the Great buried? The burial place of Alexander the Great has been a historical mystery, with conflicting accounts and speculation surrounding the final resting site of one of history's greatest conquerors. Following his death in 323 BCE, the fate of Alexander's remains became a subject of political and religious intrigue among his generals, known as the Diadochi. One prevalent theory suggests that Alexander was initially interred in a golden sarcophagus in the royal cemetery at Memphis, Egypt. However, the location of this initial burial is not definitively confirmed, and historical records present divergent narratives. Some sources claim that Ptolemy, one of Alexander's trusted generals who became the ruler of Egypt, sought to relocate the body to Alexandria, a city founded by Alexander himself. The account of Alexander's burial in Alexandria gains support from historical sources like the Greek historian Diodorus Siculus. According to Diodorus, Ptolemy took custody of Alexander's body and organized an extravagant funeral procession, transporting the remains in a golden coffin to Alexandria. There, he intended to enshrine the conqueror in a grand mausoleum, a symbol of the new capital's prestige. Ptolemy's assertion of control over Alexander's body and burial site reflects the political maneuvering among the Diadochi. Securing control over the deceased king's remains was a powerful statement of legitimacy and authority, and Ptolemy's actions reflected a desire to solidify his own rule in Egypt. The mausoleum of Alexander in Alexandria, known as the Soma, became the purported final resting place of the conqueror. This monumental structure, described by ancient writers such as Strabo, housed the golden sarcophagus containing Alexander's remains. The grandeur of the mausoleum reflected the magnificence of the Hellenistic civilization, and it became a significant pilgrimage site for admirers of Alexander's legacy. However, the fate of Alexander's body remained uncertain over the centuries. Plutarch, another ancient historian, suggests that the body might have been moved during the reign of Ptolemy IX, further complicating the search for the conqueror's final burial place. Despite various theories and archaeological efforts, the exact location of Alexander's tomb within Alexandria remains elusive. The mystery deepened with the rise of Christianity in Egypt, as religious and political shifts led to the decline and eventual disappearance of the mausoleum of Alexander. The site became lost to history, adding to the enigma surrounding the whereabouts of Alexander the Great's remains. This ends today's video. What pieces of history do you want us to cover next? Let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more discoveries in time.